Hi everyone, this is Natasha. I wanted to share with you a couple of masculine birthday cards that I made. We have a lot of birthdays in September. Both my husband is at the beginning of September, my dad, my brother-in-law, there's anniversaries, so there's a lot of cards that I end up making. So I just want to share you. Let me show you first the card that I made for my husband who turned, that number. So what I started off with is a craft base cardstock. And I've been using my favorite super thick, I think it's the Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby, 8.5 by 11, cut in half to an A2 size card, but instead of facing it this way where it opens up, I wanted a little bit more wide front, so it's just oriented in this direction. And the pattern papers that I used are the Heidi Swap No Limits, and I had actually picked this up specifically for masculine cards. I have a lot of very pretty, very floral, very girly paper, but it's really nice to have this kind of paper on hand. It has some schematics, it has some grids, it has some maps, stars, so darker colors, and I really love having it. And I'm actually down by, I probably have used a third of the stack, and there's 24 sheets, so 12 designs, 2 each sheet of each design. So for my husband's card, I used a dark blue base. You could see just an 1/8 inch smaller than the front of the card, which is 5.5 by 4.25. And then the pattern paper, which is the Explore page, because we do so much roaming around and road trips, I thought that would be a nice page to use, or a nice pattern to use for the top layer. And then using Tim Holtz Ideology label letters, which I absolutely adore. They're just kind of the right size, and the black. What they look like is a Dymo label punch outs. See how the slightly imperfect letters where they look like they're shadows, and they're perfect for that. So that's what I used for the Happy 50 and for his name at the bottom. And this is a Sizzix die, and I happen to have a whole bunch of these just kind of already cut out of a lighter craft. Coordinates very nicely with a taupey color in the paper. And then from Epiphany Crafts, I used the Star Punch and the epoxy that goes on top of it. Also using some of the pattern paper. I had the stars, and I just kind of put it on there, and I think I attached it with glossy accents because it's on there nice and tight. And there's a couple of layers, and I left this top open so I could pop in, because he does save all his cards, I can pop in some photographs from some of our adventures. And then on the inside I did add another layer of paper, and I already wrote my sentiment, so I just won't share that because it's kind of goofy. And then on the back I have my personal signature stamp and the Pull My Finger, which I love this stamp, and it's from stamptique.com, and I received this from Roxy, who is Roxy for here on YouTube. Thank you, Roxy. I do use this a lot for hubby stuff. So there's the Pull My Finger and then the Created By. So that's the one I made for my husband earlier in the week. His birthday was on Thursday. And then this one I made for my dad today. His birthday's tomorrow, but we're going over there today to give him his gift, and we got him a Costco membership because, funny enough, they don't have Costco. They're not Costco members, but their house in Florida, there's a Costco right in town. So and he always asks me to pick up some old-fashioned oatmeal for him. So on the inside I'll write the message that now he can go pick up his own. So the card will be just mailed to his house directly. But again, I used the same little frames from Sizzix, and I picked those. I picked that die up from the clearance or the outlet, Sizzix.com. I believe they're still available. A little misnomer: the image on the front shows you 3 different sizes, but there's actually only 2 sizes of the stamp frames. But I use them a lot. They're very gender neutral, which are nice to use in either way. And then I used the same paper stack, but I used the schematic paper for the top layer, and I did use another light blue layer underneath. I gave him 3 stars, because, is it 3 stars general or 4 stars general? Anyway, he's an engineer, so I thought that would be a really nice page for him to use, the pattern paper for the schematic. And then using my Potty People from Prover Craft, and this is old, and I have a male and a female one. I just cut that out of the same paper. Now, to save some paper and to save some depth, especially if you're mailing something, I'm hand delivering this one, so that's not an issue, but to save the paper, I actually cut the base layer of the blue paper, and then I cut the center out so I could use it for the other embellishments. So I had plenty of blue left for all sorts of things. So you even have some scrap pieces of paper left. So that center piece that I cut out and saved before layering the schematic page over it, or paper over it, I was able to use for all the embellishments. So I have the little potty person, and then hashtag paw, and then I use that for, there's a little, now this is also a, so there's a hashtag, it's a cuddle bug letter set. There's the P and the larger A that I used, and I love having these on hand because they really make it personalized. So there's the hashtag paw and his little present, and then in the schematic page it was really funny because I needed to somewhere to stamp the happy birthday, and then I wanted to layer on the blue to make it pop a little bit more. But as you can see, there's a little date section, so I just put the date of his birthday, which is tomorrow, 9/9/2013, and then I just used a little piece of ribbon left over from a present that I received, which matched perfectly in the blue. So it's definitely masculine, but it is, I think it's pretty. And on the inside, I just used the rest of that little schematic paper left over to punch out the stars without putting the epoxy on it because I didn't want to add depth. And I'm just going to write the message in here, and then on the back I have the information. Ooh, my hair stuck to it, do you see that? I have my stamp created by, and the ink that I used is the chalk, fluid chalk from Colorbox in Chestnut Brown, which is a nice compliment because there's really no black. The schematic drawing is in brown ink instead of black. So there you go. There's the two masculine cards that I made. Oh, and the ink that I used, I put little dots of ink here and there. It's this little glitter pen, and that's from Gel Writer, and I have a whole stash of them. That's also what I used for the letter, for the numbers here, and in the what I wrote inside for my husband too. So I'm going to write the message with the same pen. So there you go. Hopefully this gives you some ideas on masculine cards, because I know those are sometimes a little bit more of a challenge. You're tempted to put something pretty, but it could be pretty without being overly girly. So there you go. We're going to go deliver this card to my parents, to my dad later today. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Don't forget to thumbs up. It's free for you and it helps me out. And I'll have photographs and a full recipe for each of the cards on my blog, and once that's up, I'll include the link in the description directly to it below. Thank you so much for watching.